I have a repertoire of passages that just constantly are feeding me. They're protecting me. They're giving me strength. They're building my faith. They're taking me out of the depths of hell. And in another moment, they're dropping me to my knees in humility. The passage that we're going to look at today, that we're going to be confronted with, is one of the passages I have in my repertoire of life-giving scriptures. And when you're going to understand why after today, it's very powerful. And I suspect you're going to add it to yours if you don't already have one. Messiah Yeshua is the same yesterday, today, and forever. This is a prolific writer. He's doing something interesting to me. See, he's circling back. Now keep in mind, we're in chapter 13. He's making his exit from this epistle, and yet he takes us back to chapter 1. Back to his introduction, when what he did is as we entered into this epistle, he blew us out of the water. I mean, that's what he did. He didn't ease into this epistle. You begin to read it, he blows his audience completely out of the water, saying, this is who Yeshua of Nazareth really is. Stand in awe. And then he comes out, and one of the first things he literally says is, Yeshua holds all things together by the word of his power. Who can that be but God alone? And then he builds on that. He takes us to Psalm 2. B'nai ata ani hayom yelidtika. You are my son. Today I have begotten you. And then he builds on top of that and says, let all the angels of God worship him. And then he builds on top of that and takes you to Psalm 45. Kisaha Elohim olam vayed. Your throne, O God, is forever and ever. The writer of Hebrews is literally saying, this is Yeshua. This is the one he's talking about, called Elohim. That's mind-blowing. He's blowing his audience out of the water. And then he says this, like a cloak, you will fold them up and they will be changed, but you are the same. He says he is the same. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Why is that important? Why is this so awesome? Well, let me take you to the prophet Malachi. Malachi 3:6. For I am the Lord. Oh, I do not change. Therefore, you are not consumed, O sons of Yaakov. I am Yahweh. It's the tetragrammaton. I am the Lord, and the Lord doesn't change. Now, here's the thing. As we look at this, this is a principle that can only be ascribed to God. To say that he's the same yesterday, today, and forever, that is only a principle that can be ascribed to God. So who is this Yeshua? Well, he's God being the Son of God. He is Echad. He is one with his Father. This is the Shema. Remember, the Shema is a revelation of the relationship between the Father and the Son. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. Messiah Yeshua is the same yesterday, today, and forever. There's more here than simply a radical deistic statement. There's a lot more here than that. In fact, I'm going to tell you, this is about God's character. This is about character. This is about power. This is about mercy. This is about love. There's a lot more going on here. And I'm going to tell you, when this becomes a reality for you, when you truly understand this, it will change the way you read the Bible. It will change the way you pray. It will change how you pray. It will change how much you pray. It will change your life. For some of you, it will change your religion. And so I want to spend some time on this because it is so powerful. It is going to open the doors of the Holy Spirit in your life. The first thing I want to do is I want to talk about secessionism. How many of you are familiar with this term, secessionism? This is a term that describes the belief or the notion that many Christians, by the way, hold. The gifts of the Spirit, things like word of knowledge, things like prophecy, the speaking in different languages, what we call tongues, the gifts of healings, going forth, all that power, that outpouring of the Spirit, that's done. That ceased with the apostolic age. That ceased once the Bible, as we know it, once John was done with his revelation, that ceased to exist after the Bible was in its full completeness, because once that's done, we don't need these other things. Those things were simply utilized to establish the church, to kind of kickstart it. If you were in business, you would look at it, this is the initial capital. For a business to get off the ground, they got to have investors. This is the initial capital. But after that, then we don't need the investors. This is kind of the mindset of cessationism. And so there are secessionists that will absolutely tell you, well, God can do anything. It's not that they don't believe that God's not all powerful. They don't believe that. They believe that. It's just he doesn't move like that. He doesn't move like that anymore. The problem with this ideology is this. Messiah Yeshua is the same yesterday, today, and forever. That's your problem. Where am I going with this? Well, let me take you to the Gospel of Mark. Let's start here. In those days, the multitude being very great and having nothing to eat, Yeshua called his disciples to him and said to them, I have compassion on the multitude. You understand? This is an absolute fact. It's been recorded. And as the story goes on, you'll see evidence. Yes, he did. Yeshua has compassion. We now get to see Yeshua's heart for his people, right? And if he is the same yesterday, today, and forever, I would only come to the conclusion that he is still compassionate today. Is that significant? Well, it's pretty significant when the devil's whispering in your ear and telling you, no, he doesn't care about you. No, he's not going to be compassionate towards you. Oh, that was for other people. That becomes very significant. This is what happened to Israel. Don't be fooled. All this power and compassion God showed Israel. Oh, I'm going to protect my children from the 7 last plagues, supernaturally, by the way. I'm going to instruct them to slay the lamb, to put the blood on the doorpost. I'm going to spare them my wrath, show them my compassion so that they don't die. Then I'm going to take them out of Egypt. And they experienced all these things, taken out of Egypt, brought through supernaturally, mind you, miraculously brought through the Red Sea on dry ground, only to turn back and watch their enemies fall before them. And the very first thing that happens is Israel looks around and says, really? Have you brought us out into the wilderness to kill us with hunger? To kill us and our children? This is what you have done? Make no mistake about it. The devil repackages it and sells the same thing to you and whispers in your ear, well, no, you know what? God's not going to help you in this situation. There really is no hope. Or it's beyond him. Or as a secessionist, well, God just doesn't move that way anymore. It's absolutely demonic. We're going to find out what prompted this emotion within our master Yeshua to be compassionate. Something you want to pay close attention to. It goes on and says, because they have now continued with me 3 days and have had nothing to eat. There's not a whisper in this passage whatsoever of anyone in that crowd complaining that they hadn't eaten. Or we followed this crazy babbler out into the wilderness, and now look at, we have no food. He only brought us out here to kill us. See, that's what their forefathers said. Not a whisper. These people care about one thing. All they want is the Messiah. They want Yeshua. You know, you think about Deuteronomy 8:3, man's not to live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of God or Yeshua. They were literally walking that out. That was their life. That was their sustenance. Isn't it fascinating? It's nothing about, okay, one day goes by, okay, you know, his teachings are awesome. He's been doing some crazy miracles. I appreciate this guy, but, you know, after it, we haven't ate. And there is no food in sight. Is anyone getting worried yet? I mean, come on. You start thinking about these things. There's nothing. Nobody cares. There's not a whisper. 2 days go by. Nobody's eaten anything. And guess what? None of them have left because they are following him. They have him. They are seeking first the kingdom of God, and nothing else matters. They are not concerned about their well-being. They're not concerned whether they're going to have enough. They're simply following their shepherd. Absolutely mind-blowing. This is so powerful. I wonder, are we this diligent in seeking him? We wonder why we don't see powers happening today, why we're not seeing miracles, why we're not living in the book of Acts today. Are you like these men? Are you following him with no concern whatsoever for your flesh? No matter what cost, you're willing to follow him, to listen to him, you crave him. He's the most important thing. And if you died, it would be okay because you're with him. This is what it takes to evoke that emotion from Yeshua, that compassion. It's incredible. Moving on, we read this. And so Yeshua says, if I send them away hungry to their own houses, They will faint on the way. I can't help but think about what Yeshua says in Matthew 6. He says, don't worry about what you eat or about what you will drink or about what you will put on. He goes on and says, for the Father knows you have need of all of these things. I'm going to say that again. He knows you have need of all of these things. How many times in our life have we not appreciated he is the same yesterday, today, and forever? And we really, in our own minds, like, he doesn't really know that I have this need, so I'm going to do this. I got to take it. If nobody takes care of me, it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And he says, what we are supposed to be worried about, what we're supposed to be concerned about is our faith in him, knowing he knows our needs. Whatever we need, Yeshua knows the need.
Hey there, this is Mike at Corner Fringe Ministries. Thanks for watching our video. If you liked the video or it encouraged you, do us a favor. Hit the like button, don't forget to hit the share, and if you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. Now, if you want to watch the rest of this video, hit the button here. And if you want to watch the rest of this series, you can check it out here. And don't forget, you can download the Corner Fringe Ministries app today on any of your Play stores. Thanks for joining us at Corner Fringe Ministries.